6-5, day 1, pre-lesson, logs. Now all of a sudden we're going to hit a new thing, and we're going to talk about some rules. Now, I said 4 rules for logs. Then I put question mark, question mark. I'm going to get to that. So, first of all, let's take a look over here, something that you're familiar with. See, these are exponents. And just so you know, let's look at this for a second. What does this equal? It equals 2. What is this? This is an exponent because 10 to the second power is 100. So a log actually equals an exponent. So logs are going to kind of piggyback our rules from exponents that we've learned before, just a little different variation. So with that being said, in a weird way, multiplication somehow, kind of, sort of, equals addition, because I add those exponents. Now let's take a look at this rule. See this 1 log? Okay? I call this the log splitter rule. So I have this big maul, take a swing at a log, I got a log sitting there, I can cut it in half, cut it in 2 pieces. One nice swing. We're going to do that mathematically. Notice we got 1 log, we're going to do something to split it into 2. Notice how R and S are connected. They're connected by multiplication. Multiplication, strangely, we're going to split it into 2 logs separated by addition. So similar to this, multiplication strangely equals addition. Multiplication strangely splits into 2 logs separated by addition. Now, let's actually do this. So if this is the math problem, and they're like, okay, write it as 2 logs. Get out your log splitter. Just follow the rules. Now remember, this says B, B, B. There's an invisible 10 there, but don't get too worried about that. They just want you to go like this. Split it into 2 logs. Now give me a moment of your time, and let's take a look at this, and let's make sure this rule works. So right over here, 2 times 3 is 6. If I go log 6, I get 0.778. Now, you're not going to have to do this on your homework. I'm just proving to you that these work. Log of 2, 0.301. Log of 3, 0.477. What do you think this plus this equals? You got it. It equals that exact thing. Now your exercises are simply going to be take 1 log, split it into 2, but then they're going to give you these problems. And I get a little weird with this stuff, forgive me. If you've seen the movie Princess Bride, there's this word called marriage, marriage. So, funny movie if you haven't seen it. Well, what's this deal about marriage? Well, marriage is where the 2 shall become 1. The 2 shall become 1. So going this way is my log splitter. But if I start with this, and they want us to write it as a single log, see, they're going to give you those instructions. You have to go, well, if multiplication equals addition, then if I go backwards, then addition must mean multiplication. 2 times 3 is 6. So I wrote it as a single log, okay? So it's not really 4 rules. This is 1 rule. But if I read it left to right, it's my wood splitter. If I read it right to left, it's marriage. You're going to hear me say that a lot. It's going to be a little annoying, but I do that on purpose. All right, move on to this one. Example 2. Here's this weird rule. Now look at it. Division somehow equals subtraction if this is my log splitter rule. See this right here? It's 1 log. And if I apply the rule, it turns into 2. Now notice there's a connection in the world of exponents. Do you remember these? X to the 10th over x to the 3rd equals x to the 7th. How did we get 7? 10 minus 3. So really, in a weird way, division problems equal subtraction. Same thing here. These 2 things are being divided. the wood splitter, division turns into subtraction. Now let me prove it to you. I'm going to take this log of 7/2, and I'm just going to go log of 3.5, because that's what it is, 0.544. Now let's apply this rule to it, see what happens. So notice the top portion comes first, so that's going to be log of 7 minus, and whatever's in the bottom is what I put here, 2. Now let's check this out, see how accurate it is. Log of 7.845 minus log of 2.301, and if I subtract 0.845 minus 0.301, guess what I get? I get exactly 0.544. Does this stuff work? Yes, but remember, if this is the math problem and they're saying write it as 2 logarithms, you're going to apply the rule. Division equals subtraction. You split the 1 log into 2 logs separated by subtraction. It just works. Now what if, better answer that. So continuing on. Now here's the math problem, but the instructions are going to say take these 2 logs and write them as a single log. The 2 shall become 1. Marriage. Well, we look at this and we think, oh, what does that trigger? Well, subtraction, division ends up being subtraction, so subtraction ends up being division. So I write it as 1 logarithm. See, the 2 shall become 1, and then the first thing goes in the top, second thing goes in the bottom. And that's how you do it. There's 2 of the rules, but I put that in quotations. Really, I've shown you 4, because you can read it this way, but you can read it that way. Depends on what the instructions are. A couple more. Okay, 2 more rules. Here's the first one. Good news, you've already been taught this. All this is saying is, if you have a power on this little rascal, you can rewrite it like this. So, here's an application problem. Log of 3 squared, take that 2, write it in the front. Now, when are you going to need to do that? Well, there's going to be problems that force you to do that. Phase 1 is just practicing these rules, and then phase 2 is some application problems where you just have to do it to get the answer. So with that being said, let's check this. This is really the same thing as log of 9, so I'm going to do that. And again, you're not doing this on your homework. I'm just proving to you that these rules work. So 0.954 equals. Now I'm going to take log of 3 and then double it. So log of 3 times 2, guess what? 0.954. So does the rule work? Yes. But remember, for every 1 rule, there's the reverse rule. So if you're given something like this, and they're asking you to use one of the laws to write it differently, you'd go, oh, I remember this rule. That can just go right there. So this doesn't really fit in the log splitting marriage rule. You just got to be on the hunt for law 3 or rule 3 at all times. So they want you to practice law 3. So if you're looking at the problem, you're like, and they might even say, write this as a single log. Some of you are going to be like, well, I'm done. But they want you to do law 3. So that's where you move this up here. But if this is the problem, then they want you to write it like that. All right, last rule. You just got to be on the lookout for this. So what does this equal? Well, it equals 0. How do you know that? Well, check it on your calculator. Just log a 1, you're going to get a 0. Why? Well, there's an invisible 10 there. 10 to the 0 power is 1. So this whole thing, whenever it pops up, is 0, which means if this ever pops up, disappears. It has 0 value. Same thing with this one. There's an invisible e there. E to some power is 1. Well, it has to be 0 also. So look for this, look for this, and when they pop up, just equals 0, has no value. Okay, pause that. Here's a similar problem to what you're going to be dealing with on your homework. It says write it as a single log. Well, we've got 3 logs. We're going to tackle these essentially 2 at a time and see what happens in here. Now remember I said, look for law 3. I'm going to add to that. Look to do something with law 3 first, and your life will go well for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 4, I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to take that 3, and I'm going to put it right there. What does addition mean? Addition means multiplication. So the 2 shall become 1. How? Multiplication. So that's a 4, and I get m to the 4th n cubed. That's inside the brackets. But now I got minus log 4p. So do I have law 3 going on anywhere? Not really. What does subtraction of 2 logs mean? Well, the 2 shall become 1. This is the stuff in the top. Remember, subtraction equals division. And then this is the thing that's going to be in the bottom. And that right there is the simplified version of that crazy thing right there. We did it. One more coming. Here's one with natural logs. I didn't say this in the pre-lesson really, but the same rules apply to natural logs as the LOG logs. So the instructions are write these 2 as a single log. Well, remember, this is going to be here, and that's just the same thing as a natural log of 8. This is going to be here, so minus the natural log of 25, and the 2 shall become 1. Subtraction equals division, so there's my 1. The first one goes in the top, the second one goes in the bottom. You did it.